As time goes on, meanings change, words evolve, concepts change. It is therefore that I asked a question to old and new fans alike. What does it mean to be a Kamen Rider? Since its inception, the concept of a Kamen Rider is that of someone being made for the purposes of evil, but, in an ironic twist, oppose that which created them. There are, however, exceptions to this concept, even in the older era of writers. Kamen Rider Spirits is a manga that follows the stories of the first 10 writers. Although its canon can and will be debated, it functions as a good supplemental take on Showa writers, their stories, their universe, and why they are Kamen Riders. Being more than just a hero of justice, these writers gave up their humanity, either by choice or by it being stripped away. They overcome, they defend. These are Kamen Riders. After the end of the Showa era of writers, a new hero, a new legend emerges. Kamen Rider returned after 6 years without a live-action production, and although the show was called Kamen Rider Kuga, it is important to note that neither in this show nor its sequel series, Kamen Rider Agito, is the term Kamen Rider even used. However, the PlayStation 2 game, Kamen Rider Seigi no Keifu, directly links Agito, and therefore Kuga, to the same timeline of the Showa writers. Decade and Zio be damned. By this time, the universe was one. It's in this game that a chakra monster refers to Agito as Kamen Rider, and through interactions with Ichigo, Nico, V3, Riderman, and Black, learns the meaning of the term, and prompts to adopt this. It is up to this point that Kamen Rider was only applicable to those on the right side of justice. The concept of an evil rider is not new. Throughout its 50-year history, there have been many rider-like enemies. In the original series, Gel Shocker created Shocker Riders to replace the originals. These, however, were the successful conversions, as opposed to the failed brainwashing of the originals. In Kamen Rider Black, we have Shadow Moon, the 2nd century king modified by Gorgum to fight Black Sun for the title of Creation King. His and Black Sun's story are intertwined. The difference? Black Sun was saved before his brainwashing. Shadow Moon did not. Black maintained the notion of what it meant to be a Kamen Rider. Shadow Moon never did. Plenty of villains with rider-like appearances were indeed not uncommon. Kamen Rider Ryuki is a different kind of show than its predecessors. 13 riders fighting in an endless rider war, with one goal. There could only be one. Each rider has their own motivation, as the prize was any wish they wanted granted. Though one can claim that a villain rider will have their own warped sense of justice, it is in this series that normalized Kamen Rider being used as a term for both good and the evil, as long as the appearance fit the bill. In later shows, the writers would take their own sense of the term and use it as they saw fit. Kamen Rider Double, for example, Eternal was an evil writer. They justified his story with his own special, making him worthy of being a writer. However, this uses the terminology to show that this character had their own sense of justice, even if it wasn't seen as an overall good character. More recently than not, it's become reoccurring to have a Kamen Rider as the final villain of the show, or even a movie. And look, I get it, it sells toys. But as we become more saturated with those taking the mantle versus those who inherit it, the line between good and evil have forever been blurred. In the upcoming year, the remake of Kamen Rider Black, Black Sun, will broadcast. The cast and crew have made several notable changes that feel very Ishinomori-esque in style. However, with one glaring oversight. No, they are calling him Kamen Rider Shadow Moon. Why? Why are you doing this? Shadow Moon is now given the term Kamen Rider. Given all that I've explained before, is Shadow Moon worthy of being a Kamen Rider? Or is this the new definition? And for this is where I ask the question again. What does it mean to be a Kamen Rider? Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed this little editorial video that I did. Obviously, work like this takes a bit of time for me to produce, but it's the content that I hope to bring to the table if time allows. This video was meant to stir up the conversations and lend an ear to your opinions. What is a Kamen Rider to you? There could be multiple definitions for what one could be. But what do you think it means? I am personally of the opinions that villains shouldn't be Kamen Riders, unless they're an enemy turned good. For example, Chase from Drive. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any ideas for any other editorial videos you would like to see me make, let me know in the comments below, as well as share your thoughts. I'm still developing as a potential content creator, so please bear with me, and I hope you understand. Thank you.